What's going on, you guys? Jerk120 here to teach you a little card trick called the Impossible Card Vanish. The idea is you have someone pick a card and they sign it. So we got the 10 of diamonds here. And we're going to take the 10, place it into, and you don't see it, but we're going to place it into about the middle of the deck. Give it a couple cuts. And then we give the spectator a coin, which they can then sign. I'm just going to put an X on the quarter. X marks the spot. So take the quarter, show nothing in my hands, do the impossible card vanish. Let's learn how to do it. So to make this beautiful illusion come to life is actually a really convincing, simple gimmick. It's just one playing card, a regular playing card, and we are going to cut a hole, a quarter-sized hole in the middle of it. So once we cover the card, we'll be able to pick up the card and palm it in our hand, and then the quarter will remain in place, dropping through the quarter-sized hole. So what we're going to need for this is a playing card, preferably a face card, because that's going to take away a lot of the distraction of any hole or imperfections that we make once we draw the circle, and an X-Acto knife and a pencil for tracing, and of course a quarter. So what I'd like to do is, and I have a cutting board here as well to prevent from scuffing up the table. So what I'd like to do is, on the back of the playing card, put a quarter directly in the center of it. Now you can take like a Sharpie if you'd like, but I find a pencil a little easier because we just need like a rough outline around the outside, and you want to keep this quarter perfectly in place if we can, and simply draw around it. You know what, maybe a Sharpie would be better because I don't quite see the mark. So yeah, grab a Sharpie. And we won't be seeing the back of the playing card, our audience won't anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. What I like to do is make just little notes of markings around it to an extent, and there. So that is the circle that we want to trace around. But that doesn't mean we don't want to use the quarter to help trace it. That's just the general shape. What's nice about bicycle cards is they already have this kind of circle around the area, so it gives you a good idea of where to put the quarter. So take the quarter and you just want to hold it down firmly grasp it. And then I have an X-Acto knife here, and it cuts nice and easy. But be careful because it is sharp and still dangerous. And I go around. Again, it cuts very easily, so you don't need too much pressure to start making a shape around this. So I'll go over the same area a couple times. Oops, see, I already messed up to an extent. You want to keep that quarter nice and in place. Go around the same area a few times and then simply rotate the card, put the quarter back in its place, in its outline, and I'm trying to lean this edge of this knife inward so I stay on the inner path closest as I can. Keep circling around. Put it in the center where my outline is. Keep going, circling around and around. Keeping this 2-finger pressure on it. So that's pretty much one rotation around it. If I look at the front to see, it's starting to make a little outline. And this is just kind of patience and multiple traces going over. Don't feel bad if it's not perfect. So playing cards are 3 layers thick. There's this side that has this image, there's this side that has the back image, and then there's a layer in the middle to kind of keep its stability. So once you've done enough of tracing on the back side, on the back layer, and it's starting to peel through the middle layer and the face layer, if you flip the card over, you'll start to see a little outline of where it's coming through. So you can put the quarter on the front now, knowing where that trace is, and just slowly start to make the trace on the front. Carefully, go nice and slow. You want to stay within, you don't want to cut and have the knife go off the edge. I did that a little bit on the back, and it's not as bad of a mistake on the back as it is on the front, because the front is the part of the coin, the part of the card that we're seeing rather. There we go. So just slowly start to shimmy that through and out. Need to make a little more trace up here. Make a trace around the back. Still. There we go. Okay. So, cut that circle out, and now we have a quarter-sized hole. And what you're going to want to do is see, sometimes I would pass the quarter through the hole just to almost widen those edges a little bit, because you actually need the hole just a tiny bit bigger than the quarter even. So I can tell right now that it's not going to go through all the way, at least not easily. So I just have to come around, trim that up just a little better. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So if I put this down, see if I lift up. There we go, not bad. And I just might take the quarter, kind of shimmy it around to make these edges of the circle a little leaner. So now the idea is, with this card here, the quarter on top, should be able to just simply lift up, and it should go away. The card should be able to lift up and go through the quarter. But it's just taking some trial and error. Put it on. Try to lift this card up. And so it comes through nice, but now we have to fine tune being able to pick the card up while palming it. Now this is a brand new deck of cards, so it's not as nice, but that's essentially the idea. Pick up to reveal the quarter stays directly in place where you left it. So what I might recommend doing from here is taking the 2 corners furthest from you and bending them a little bit, because it's your right hand, or your left hand, whatever. It's your right hand that's going to come over and pick the card up in a palm to hide it away. So, just because that 4 of diamonds is a perfect example, that 4 of diamonds came with me as I tried to pick up the card. So, to be able to pick it up easier, might want to just bend the corners a little bit, just so it naturally has this lift to the card, as you can kind of see there even. Now that's just like an extreme example. You only need it just ever so slightly. But the idea is that when you can come over, pick it up, and the card will stay right in place where you had the deck in the first place. This hole's given me a little trouble on the liftoff, and it's because when the card bends, it changes the shape of the card and almost makes it thinner and almost like a grip to the quarter. So what I'm doing is just kind of maneuvering the quarter around to clean these edges up and also make the hole just ever so slightly bigger. So once I do come through to lift it up, should just drop the quarter off easier. If you guys are struggling with that the same way I was, then that's a good little solution without destroying the integrity of the hole. Once you fine-tune the card by extracting all the excess stuff and trying to make it as smooth as you can with using the X-Acto knife, you want to have the side that's more messed up. For me, it's this side. You want to have that side facing you. So once the quarter is blocking it, it'll be more difficult for your spectator to see that it's back there. And so with that being said, I'm gonna actually have to bend these corners to pick this side up. Once it's time to do the change, the spectator's card will be the second from the bottom with the gimmick card on the bottom, and they'll be signing the quarter if you so desire they want to. It's a nice little touch. It's also a nice little distraction from anything that you may be doing with the deck, trying to get their card where it needs to be. Once they give it back to you, you're going to pick up the deck as such and block the face card, the gimmick card from their face. They'll see this. You just casually take it, place it on the hole, and in that fell swoop of emotion, they won't know anything's up. They won't expect anything fishy. Take the card. They don't know what's going to happen, so they don't know what to expect. They don't know what to look for. So you're going to put the card down and apply pressure to this quarter, because while it looks like you're keeping it in place, to their eyes, yes, you are keeping the quarter in place from moving, but you are also trying to feed the quarter through the hole. You can do so by bowing the deck ever so slightly, but even having that quarter a little bit through the hole is going to make the liftoff easier. See, but that's too much. That's a little too exposed. So it's going to be tough, but you just come down, place it down on the table, and that's pretty good. Looks a little too askew for my taste, but it's just going to take trial and error, time and practice. Now when you come over to palm the card off, you don't want to go like this and then peel away. You want to come over and lift up, because you need that quarter to drop right in its place. And when you're also doing it, make sure with your free hand, your non-dirty hand, to cover the hole, any flashes that may happen with the grip. So you show your hands empty, cover, lift up, drop the card off in your lap if you're at the table, and they just witnessed an impossible card vanish. Now for the sake of the tutorial, that was a sloppy change, but that's just what you're going to have to learn. Videotape yourself doing it, see your angles, see the pressure in which you need to take the card, and once you pick the card up, you're coming over, pinching the corners like this, lifting up, and then you do a little wave. This wave prevents any kind of like flashing from happening. Or not flashing, but it's a motion blur effect, so it's hard to see if there is anything going on, even if they're, to the spectator. Hopefully their eyes are locked right on the card, and you can slide back, place your fingertips on the table, and simply drop the card off in your lap, pick the deck up, shove the quarter off like that, and then show them their signed card. You could even spread through the deck to make it extra pretty. So ideally, they've just signed the quarter. You pick it up, place it in the center of the deck, show your hands empty to do the impossible card vanish. Now I'm going to show you guys the actual performance breakdown I did in the beginning of this video. Now essentially, this could just be like a cool color change. You don't have to do this routine. I essentially made this up on the spot, thinking of how to manipulate the card to go where I wanted it to go. So in doing so, the Problem with the Sharpie is now you have this black circle, so you have to be careful not to expose it or else they may see it. But essentially what you want to do is take our gimmick card. If you want to do it the way I did it, I'm sure you guys can come up with your own creative way. Put the gimmick card second from the top, so it's underneath the top card. Have our spectator pick a card. Let's say they picked the 10 of diamonds. They sign the card, and you're going to perform a Marlowe Tilt. So while they are signing the card, you're just going to prop up the top card to prepare for a Marlowe Tilt. I have tutorials of how to properly execute this in other videos, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. And I'd also like to believe that you guys already know how to do it. So take the 10 of diamonds, perform a Marlowe Tilt, essentially putting the card second from the top. So now it's a unnecessary card, the signed card, and then our gimmick card. But as you're squaring the deck up, this is where the nice little touch comes from. You're going to do the Marlowe Tilt, feed it in, but as you're squaring this end up, you are actually also catching a break underneath our gimmick card. So you have a break underneath third card from the top. And you're just going to perform a couple undercuts until we eventually have now put the gimmick card on the bottom with the spectator's card underneath that. Once you've performed those undercuts, you can put the cards on the table until you need to pick it up again. Introduce the quarter. They take a nice look at it, sign it, and while they're signing it, you can actually hold on to the deck, so you don't have this awkward kind of like mumbled, who God knows what could go wrong just picking up a deck of cards. So you pick it up, make sure to block their eyes with the back of your hand. Pick it up, and just as we learned, you're going to place the quarter right on our card, place it down, and essentially perform the trick. Show your hands empty, come over, lift straight up, wave away, and then come over here, fingertips on the table to drop the card into your lap or to the floor. Hopefully you're doing it in a relatively noisy area. Maybe there's some music going on, and so they're both distracted by the music and the sounds to not really being able to pay super close detailed attention to what's going on. Cut off as many of their senses as you can to make this really glorious. And that is it. Peel the card off, do a nice little reveal there, and then that let them look through the deck, you know? Signed card, signed coin, you're left clean with a regular deck of cards. What more could you want? Thanks for watching, you guys. I'm Jarek120 of Disturbed Reality. Subscribe for more powerful magic integrated with social dynamics. I hope you get some use out of the impossible card vanish. A signed coin, a signed card, and you're left with a clean deck. It's a beautiful thing. A week from today, November 13th, I'm in a big high-profile wrestling match here in Southern California for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. It's a non-sanctioned match, so anything that happens in the match, neither me, my opponent, or the company is legally responsible for or liable for it. The feud has gotten that much to an intensity. I stalked his family a little bit, and like his wife and kids, and kidnapped him and hung him upside down like Harry Houdini, left him for dead. But now he's back to exact his revenge on me and try to get his comeuppance, and I'm there to shut him down, put an end to it. So come on out if you can get to Southern California. It's about an hour north of Los Angeles, actually, in Port Hueneme, Oxnard, Ventura area. I'll leave a link in the description, and check out this video that I made for it that basically highlights everything that I've been doing the last 12 months in the world of wrestling, and hope to see you guys out there. It's a free show. They tape it for TV, so come see this big, hardcore, blood feud match finish its final chapter of the story. Again, I'm Jarek120. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Be inspired to learn and inspired to disturb, and always rise above.